Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Taylor Jones. And do you have any idea what time it is? Happy days are here again, with the skies above are clear again. Let us sing a song of cheer again. Happy days are here again. Happy days are here again. Cold Man's Winter Season 3 is about to begin. I am glad to do this thing once again. Happy days are here again. See, your cares and troubles are gone, and there will be no more from now on. From now on, happy days are here again, with the skies above are clear again. So let us sing a song of cheer again. Happy times, happy nights, happy days are here again. Hey, what's up, guys? This is yours truly, Taylor Jones. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, TC Jones Edits. And what you just heard was my take on Barbra Streisand's Happy Days Are Here Again, based on the fact that you just prepared yourself for a very long time. You waited a long time to see me come back with the premiere of season 3 of Cold Man's Winter. And first and foremost, thank you very much for all the support that you have done from 2020 to 2021 when I did the first 2 seasons. Even though I plan to make more adjustments, more improvements, and I just sure hope that I make it this far and give some good advice like I always do. But since this is the premiere of season 3, episode 1, there's one thing that comes in mind. And when it comes to real life issues, topics, there's one thing that comes in my heart that came to my mind. And that topic is ego. For those that are wondering, what is ego? How do you get through this? How do you deal with it, whether in a good and bad way? Well, I'm gonna let you know like this. When it comes to egos, it takes more than Beyonce to let you know that, but to have an ego is like you have an attitude that you feel like you're invincible. But at the same time, when it comes to having egos, there's a dark side. As in, you starting to hate on everybody. You starting to get peed off over a lot of things. Like, come on now. Why would you want to be peed off over everything? Made me think of the time when I made a YouTube video and told a little story about what the case is for everybody being mad over nothing. And I've been mad over nothing for so long, but that's because I too have an ego that I need to adjust or let go. So when it comes to egos, it's like you have a green feeling, like your whole world is about to turn green, like jealousy, but enviness, But egos is like, man, you never know what it's gonna bring. It's gonna bring drama. It's gonna bring turmoil. Like, you can't do that. You can't let that happen. So, to start off Coleman's Winter Season 3, when it comes to talking about ego, you know there has to be a story involved. And I'm going to break it down like this. South Los Angeles, formerly known as South Central LA, 1986. There were two friends. One was a Crip by the name of Sundance. And he's been a Crip for 5 years. He joined ever since he was 10 years old. And now he and his friend David, Sundance and David, they were cool ever since they started meeting each other back in 1980. Because at that time, life was going completely downhill in the West Coast. So, not to mention, Sundance and Dave, they were always honest. They were always faithful. And even when they have to put each other in check, they know when to be like, you know what? I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done that. I know I made a mistake. And like they try to let bygones be bygones on a daily basis. And that's the way it's supposed to be. Because they're true friends like that. But since David was not a gang member and Sundance was, things started to go completely downhill. Like, emotional roller coasters start to build up every now and then. And a lot of people, they starting to question, what was David really thinking? David, are you out of your dang mind? You befriended a Crip? Look, I know this Crip. He joined when he was 10. This was back in 81, but here we are in 1986. Why are you making it hard on me? You think I talk about your business? No. So, anyway, let's get serious. Now, junior year just started, and they were in 10th grade. Let me fix that. 10th grade, everything was going smoothly because a brand new school year, sophomore year, and a lot of folks were still depending on David to like stay away from Sundance, as in he's up to no good, but David avoids all that. And there was one girl that had the nerve to tell David like it is. Look, David, you really need to get away from that Crip. I mean, like, and what does that make you, a blood? I mean, and then all of a sudden everybody got quiet. The girl had the nerve to act like she was a thug, like an OG. And she was like, don't you hate it when your phone doesn't stay on top of things? Anyway, back to the story. How dare you say that word? What? Blood. Well, what do you have against me hanging out with a Crip? Now, me and Sundance, we've been cool since 1980, and I refuse to be humiliated to the fact that as if he did something wrong to me. What is the deal? Why are you talking about Sundance this and Sundance that? Leave Sundance alone. But little did David know that everybody, they spotted Sundance's behaviors. Like, for instance, when he was 12, he was on a mission. Like, a blood and Crip fight was taking place. And he witnessed Sundance, that is, he witnessed what it was like to kill his first rival gang member. He killed a blood when the night was out. But what made it clever is that to keep himself from being, and I being considered a Crip, he dressed in all black. Yet he still had his bandana, but he tucked his bandana all the way inside his left pant pocket on the back. And that way, nobody would notice. Not even the gang members would know that he was a Crip. So he tried to keep it on the down low, especially with a ski mask, gloves, and his first gun that he earned at 11 years old and learning how to use it properly. That was a Smith & Wesson. It was a revolver, by the way. So he was like Dirty Harry. But at the time, Dirty Harry was already out in the theaters. Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk? I mean, it was kind of cool for Sundance to just hang around, take care of his duties, and to stay alive as a Crip. Throw his C's in the air, spraying all the bloods because he just don't care. But at the same time, he still had to continue with his schooling. Even though life was getting out of hand, it's like this. Back in 1976, Sundance, his father and mother got into an argument. And I'm afraid that based on the situation that went down, Sundance, he had his ears closed. Like most of the time when his parents argued, he closed his ears like, I don't want to hear it. I wish you would stop fighting. But he was too young to raise his voice. So he's like, you know what? I'm going to keep my mouth shut. I'm not going to let my mouth get the best of me. But in 76, Sundance, 5 years old, witnessed his father being humiliated by his wife. And then all of a sudden, like, for instance, his wife always nags and blames or accuses Sundance's father for not being the man that he's supposed to be. And what does the woman do on a living? That was the question. Oh yeah, well, what have you been doing? You like to humiliate me on a daily basis, but you know what it is? You got he was having a hard time trying to spit it out, and like, go on, spit it out. I would like to hear it. What are you gonna have to say about me? So instead of waiting for 5 seconds, he was like, you know what? To heck with it. You got an ego problem. That's what it is. You like to blame me as if I was not the father of Sundance. You think I like what I'm hearing from you? If you want to stay close, stay with me, you're going to have to fix that ego problem. Otherwise, you can ever forget about seeing Sundance ever again. Because he's going to live with me. Especially when I find a place on my own. Because guess what? I've been doing the most work. Oh, yeah? Well, that don't mean nothing. I've been doing the most work than you. And doing what? You been with the Crips for a long time. And if Sundance knew about it, it's like, next thing you know, he wants to follow your footsteps. Well, that's his choice. What do you expect him to do besides go to school? How dare you talk about me having egos? No. Shame on you, woman. I'm tired of being the beta male in this house. Matter of fact, Sundance, say goodbye to your mama. With all that being said, Sundance's father explained to him why Sundance is better off without his mom. Because the ego that she caused started bringing up a lot of anger towards her. to the fact that she didn't even care. Although she was still cripping, she was a criplet at the time. But one night in 1979, and this was like a week before the new decade hit, like Christmas week, you know how that is. She was minding her business. She was with the Criplets, just hanging out, just talking about what the new year's going to bring. And when it came to the mother, Sundance's mother, keeping it real, well, she decided to just lay low, just like a Criplet would do. Just stay true with the crew in blue. But unfortunately, a 1975 Cadillac Seville pulled up. And guess what? Sundance's mama, along with the other two Criplets that she was hanging out with, drinking Colt 45, rolling up mad blunts. Okay, just hoping for better changes when the new decade, 1980s, was about to begin. But then, hey, what up? What's up, slobs? No. Not slobs, but what's up, crabs? And all of a sudden, the Criplets decided to stop tripping. I mean, like, they decided to take action. So some of them had to pull their guns out. But when it came to pulling their guns out, it was too late. Not to mention, the opposite gang got away with murder. The driver had a shotgun. Boom! Falls one Criplet. The person that was riding shotgun, he had a 9mm, a Beretta actually. Boom! There goes another Criplet. But when it came to Sundance's mom being the third person, well, let's just say that she actually took the matter in the worst way. And she threw her Colt 45 at the car and ran for her life. Just when she thought she would make it out alive, the guy that was in the back seat that screamed out, "What up, crab?" He pulled the trigger. And he actually used a Magnum 357 revolver. Boom! Shot in the back. And then all of a sudden, the three Bloods that attempted to drive by on the Criplets that was just chilling, kicking back, smoking weed, drinking beer, talking about what the 80s would bring, they just drove off. But then all of a sudden, here we are. When Sundance and his father heard the news about Sundance's mother being murdered in a gang-related drive-by, Sundance was hurt. Then all of a sudden, Sundance's father's like, "See, this is exactly what happens. You make one false move with the ego like she had, you would have been surviving for a long time, because this is what happens when you betray your true self, your true persona. And I'm not going to let you do that. As long as you are my child, you stay safe, you stay in school, and you better not make a fool out of yourself." But instead, madness got out of hand. Because in 1981, now remember, he lost his mother in 1979. His father, Sundance's father, he started to get serious about changing Sundance's life. But all of a sudden, crap got so ugly that, yep, the same Bloods, they spotted Sundance and his father. Even though Sundance's father didn't realize that he and Sundance were in a blood neighborhood, because they were spotted wearing blue. Even though they were not trying to cause any trouble, the three Bloods that killed Sundance's mother, they wanted to say, "Yo, what's up? What you doing here? Why you wearing flu? You know you don't belong here." He ain't trying to harass Sundance's father as if he was a thug, he was a Crip. No, that's not true. But then all of a sudden, like, he try to move on. I mean, like, Sundance, don't you ever let that bother you. You just keep on walking, keep your eyes open, just walk straight, just like me. Yes, Dad. And not to mention, when it came to the problems getting out of hand, David, who actually left the blood neighborhood and to move in the neighborhood where Sundance resides at, he knew that they have to stay close. But the silly old Bloods had no idea how far they were going, that even Dave was like, "Sundance, look out!" The Bloods were attacking Sundance's father. Sundance ran for his life, but the two Bloods were jumping his father, and actually they beat the crap out of him, like jumped him, just like the thugs that beat up Cochise on Cooley High. And the third Blood that was after Sundance, man, let's just say that he was about to kill him. He was a child, but all of a sudden, he saw Dave. And Dave, he had a father figure who was actually in the police force. Dad, the Crips me. What? Oh no. Are you kidding me? Yeah. It was real. The madness was real. And it got out of hand to the fact that, guess what? The Crips, not the Crips, but the Bloods, they had their comeuppance. But unfortunately, it was too late for Sundance's father. While getting some help, when they arrived at the hospital, Sundance's father was bleeding cautiously, like being jumped. I mean, his lungs were broken. He did internal bleeding, that the doctors couldn't save him. And now he was hurt. And Dave, at Sundance's father's funeral, was like, man, I wish this gang banging stuff would die down. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it's crazy. But so the three Crips that killed his father by jumping him, the same way as in killing his mother, who was in a rival gang, and killed her from a drive-by, they got locked up, and they were all tried for life. And yes, Sundance, he knew that he was all alone, but dadgummit, he had enough. So he decided to dress in blue joined the crew, and under David's disappointment, like, dude, are you out your mind? You're 11 years old. I don't care how old I am. All I do know is that them Crips have killed both my mom and dad. And all that stupid ego of theirs is going to get them killed. What about your ego? You need to know how to handle it. Keep it under control, you know what I'm saying? You know what? You're right. But that does not mean you can stop me. But what about God? He's going to stop you. He brought you in this world. He can take you out. My dad is a cop. If you get on the wrong path, you're going to make the biggest mistake. Well, guess what? I heard that same line before from my deceased father. He's trying to keep me from being like my mama. Her ego is the reason why she got smoked. And you're not going to get me smoked or give me ridicule. But we are friends, Sundance. We cannot let stupidity like ego get the best of us. And until then, you might as well take your ego to Philadelphia. Now, what the heck does that even mean, David? It means, Sundance, that this is a double entendre. Since we're going to talk about egos, you might as well send it to Philadelphia, because I'm referring the ego, EGO, to the Eagles, EAGLE. That's your favorite NFL team, the Philadelphia Eagles. Let the Eagles get rid of your ego for you. And it's funny when Dave said that made him think like, wait. As a matter of fact, it makes everyone right now think like, wait, is this real? So yes, Sundance made some bad decisions after losing his parents, but since he joined the Crips, he like I said, he's throwing his seeds in the air, killing the Bloods like he just don't care. But he still got to go to school. He has to pay the price. And since Dave was a faithful, a God-fearing kid, he had to stay close to Sundance, keep him out of trouble. So here we are, 1986. A girl stepped up to David, try to get David to lose his cool, but all of a sudden he's like, you know what? Everything that Sundance did, it has to be your business. But when it comes to to slamming your fist on my desk and telling me to stay away from Sundance, it's like I don't even know who to trust. You got a big ego. And I'm going to tell you, like I told Sundance, you need to take that ego and send it to Philadelphia. People are like, why you be talking about Philly? Because they didn't know that Dave is actually a diehard fan of the Philadelphia Eagles. He and Sundance. Everybody else, they didn't give a dang about NFL at the time. They just wondering what Dave was up to. So Sundance, he made the right decisions, stayed in school, tried to keep his father proud, his deceased father proud, and not to get in trouble. But unfortunately, after high school was over, he took his cripping advice and cripping lifestyle seriously. That after high school, nobody can stop him. But still, David has to remind him every now and then. Even though David, he went to UCLA, he convinced Sundance to come along. But instead, Sundance was still cripping. And here we are in around 1990. Somewhere in 1990, Sundance and his Crip buddies were just chilling, doing exactly the same thing that his Criplet mother did before she got shot to death. All of a sudden, he saw a 1964 Chevrolet Impala convertible. And not to mention, what made matters worse is that the Crips, they were actually in the Blood neighborhood. Hey, yo, what's up? What you doing? Hey, yo, what's up? What you doing in Blood County? Oh yeah, we gonna kill them double crossers. That's what we gonna do. They asking for their death wish. And all of a sudden, Sundance like, oh yeah, go ahead, shoot me. I don't give a dang. Y'all punk old slobs ain't got nothing on us. What you gonna do? So Sundance started to create an ego for himself. But his ego actually didn't get him killed. While the Bloods were pulling out their guns, Sundance actually had a plan to get rid of the Bloods that was about to kill them. Because there were a couple Crips that were dressed up like Bloods, and they sprayed them in their own 6-4. And one of the Crips, dressed up as a Blood, put a stick of dynamite and said, yo, let's get the heck out of here. And they all ran. Not to mention, after the bomb exploded, boom! Madness starts to rear its ugly head. Because 2 weeks after the so-called incident where the Crips took out the Bloods for insulting the Sundance and his crew because they were in the Blood neighborhood, they were smart, but for Sundance, well, the police, they busted in. They busted in the house, a Crip party that they were throwing, and almost all Crips had to be arrested. 15 arrested were male. 20 Meanwhile, 20 arrested were females, the Criplets. And 2 were critically wounded by the police officers. And then that really screwed Sundance up. It even screwed Dave up when he saw the news. But Dave knew that the egos were getting out of hand. I mean, when it comes to egos, everybody, you need to stop and think, like, where am I going with this? Because honestly, based on the story I'm telling you, I mean, it's more than just take your ego where it belongs, and that's Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Shout out to the NFL team, the Philadelphia Eagles, first and foremost, because it's a double entendre. When I talk about the Eagles, EGOS, I'm comparing it to the EAGLES. Because, I mean, it's more than the Philadelphia thing. It's more than the South Los Angeles, formerly South Central thing. I mean, Eagles happen everywhere in the US of A, even in other countries like Africa, Asia, and so on and so on. But dadgummit, what causes egos to build up? The way you act, the way you see things. But come on now, if Sundance, you made a right decision and not join the Crips, he and David would have been close, because actually they would have made a team together. A team like partners in crime. Well, out of crime, but you know what I'm saying, like partners in crime, like police officers. They could have been police officers. They could have been doctors. But Sundance, after he got arrested, they questioned him about the incident in the Blood neighborhood where 3 individuals were smoked, and then a bomb was taken was went off. The bomb went off. Sundance had no other choice but to tell the truth, and he did. So he admitted that he was guilty because guess what? He actually came up with an idea to keep his crew, the Crips, safe by dressing up as Bloods while everybody else is dressed as Bloods, just to trick the Bloods as if the Crips are really outnumbered. So when they heard the trial, and David was there too. David heard the sentencing, and Sundance had to spend not 25, not life, but instead they gave him a smooth, and I do mean smooth sentence for admitting the madness that went down, which got David disappointed. But at the same time, David was glad that Sundance told the truth. Now remember, they were fresh out of high school. This is 1990. And they decided to go light on him. For a Crip to be telling the truth to the police officers about the incident that went down that he actually created, he did the crime, he did the time. So they gave him 13 years. 13 years. And 13 years later, after getting his life together and doing what David expects him to do, like pray to God, ask for forgiveness, and get his life together, he decided to become an author, tell his story. And when Sundance made an autobiography about himself, about when Crippen went wrong, it actually became a bestseller. And David was the first person that got his book, and he was thankful that Sundance made the right move. Because now that Sundance was a free man around his 30s or 40s at the time, he vowed never to make the same mistake again. And he called his gangbanging days over. Matter of fact, after he got out of prison, he finally took David's advice and went to UCLA. I mean, David, he had a master's. He worked his way up. He didn't get an associate's. He didn't even get a bachelor's. He spent 6 years at UCLA and worked his way up to get a master's. Now that is cool. But for Sundance, it was hard. But while he was in prison, he had some help with an inmate that wanted him to further his life with education. And that's the way it goes. Sometimes second chances is what you need. Because when you get rid of your egos, you would do exactly what Sundance would do and take time and try to fix the wrongs and see where life is at. I mean, that's all you got to do. You got to stop letting egos get the best of you, right? I mean, if you get rid of egos now, you'll be more relieved. You'll be more free to take care of business in the right way. So all that gang banging, all that attitude, that need to stop. And that's all I can tell you. And with that story in mind, sorry, it's not easy to keep your phone on the right path, but you know the deal. But for real, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. It took Sundance 13 years while he was in jail to get his act together. I mean, it went smoothly. 13 years is not as long as you think. If I was in jail for 13 years, I would actually get get on top of my faith with God. I mean, if it wasn't for David to be a God-fearing friend and giving him some good advice like Sundance's father did when he figured out Sundance's mother was going too far, that's when you know that egos can be defeated. And that's the key message to the story, the episode. So with all that being said, thank you for listening to the story about, the topic egos and how far it can be good and bad, but mostly bad. And what you can do to get out of the loophole. Because all you can do is get rid of your egos. And with all that being said, if you like this video, feel free to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And even tell your side of the story, like what you expect for how to get rid of your egos. And even tell me what part of the story that stood out to you. As much as I told you exactly how I felt about, like I told you, if I was Sundance, I would use my mind in the right way. Do the crime, do the time. Give up gang banging. Give up your attitude. Give up the ghost. Give up your ego. And that's it. That's all you got to do. But also, since I mentioned the like, comment, share, and subscribe thing, this episode has been brought to you by Sweet Lady of the Week. And this one goes out to my cousin, Charity Johnson. And congratulations to her making senior year. And all I can do is say to Charity is that no matter what happens, you got to keep God first. You got to know when to get rid of your egos, because egos can get you killed. It can get you to losing friends. It can make you lose your mind. But what would Jesus do? He would tell you that you got to keep it going. Keep it moving. You can't stop now. Keep on pushing for greatness. Because Charity Johnson, this is one good reason why I dedicated this Sweet Lady of the Week montage to you. Because we would like to see more women, younger women like yourself improve. It's important. And that's exactly how it goes when it comes to watching Cold Man's Winter. Every time I talk about topics, I have to bring up the sweet ladies and give some real good advice. That's what I'm going to do until the season is over. And since this is the beginning, you stay tuned for more. I mean, there'll be more in stores. All you got to do is go to my YouTube channel, TC Jones Edits. But why can't I call myself TC Jones Edits when I can just be me, Taylor Jones? Because that's the way it is. And until then, thank you very much for watching the first episode of Cold Man's Winter Season 3. And with all that being said, this is yours truly, Taylor Jones, and I'm signing out.